Currently, we're here for round 6 of the U.S. Hard Enduro Series. Virginia, West Virginia border. I don't know exactly where we are right now, but outside Princeton, West Virginia is where the race is at River Monsters. I think, honestly, tomorrow there's just gonna be highs and lows, and that's literally it. We're on top of a huge, massive ridge right now. Massive river down the mountain from us, but it is so steep here, just up and down, up and down. Looking at the track map from Onyx, it looks like that's all we're gonna be doing, up on a ridge, back down the other side. So first lap's, I think, a little bit easier, faster, and then the second lap, it really ramps up. And there's some really steep stuff, just never-ending hill climbs out here. And the terrain, if it's a north-facing slope, it looks really slick. And some of the boys have been riding down here, and the topsoil's gone, and it's just a layer of grease. So it's gonna be very entertaining if it doesn't dry out from what I saw yesterday.
The track out here is going to be super gnarly. I imagine that in some spots it's still going to be pretty greasy because we got some rain a little bit earlier in the week. And yeah, just these massive hill climbs, a couple of creeks here and there for sure that are going to be very slippery. And yeah, some fun switchback hills too. Just, I think, good variety of everything here for sure.
Tomorrow, the track, it's gonna be a lot of roots, a lot of dirt, hill climbs. There's not a ton of rocks. There's gonna be a few creeks that definitely some time can be made up or lost on, but it's really gonna come down to the hill climbs, I believe, for this one. And a lot of them are really long too. So you gotta hit them really hard at the bottom, be very locked in, and the dirt is slick too. And they're long enough that if you make it 3/4 of the way, I'm not sure if you can push or keep going. So I think there'd be a fair bit of, if you don't make it, you'll be going back down for another run. So definitely it's gonna be key to make your first run count every time.
This place is amazing. Like, it's so beautiful. It was like deer in the pasture this morning and fog. Property's amazing. The course, I think, is gonna be pretty sick. Like, it seems like it's gonna be high speed, lots of hill climbs. I guess there's kind of a stopper hill that people are, it kind of seems like it's gonna be make or break in the race. I don't know, I'm psyched. This place is awesome. It's my first year here. I wasn't here last year. Super happy, and yeah, I'm really excited for the race.
I think that the race is really gonna start, the beginning of lap 2 when we hit Chocolate Goddess. It's off of a road, so there's not a big run. There's a dip right before it in some loamy dirt, and then you kind of hit some, like, not Hawaiian ice, but like some like hard packed, just slick, icy dirt with roots across it the whole way up to the top. And it's just a gradual, like, 3rd gear climb, super steep, but like a gradual turn to the left. So you're gonna be using not the whole surface of the tire. You're gonna start turning and you're gonna start only using the side of the tire, and you're gonna wanna just start losing the rear, and you have to get just above a cliff for it to even be possible to push out of. And to go straight line, I think you could definitely save a good 2 or 3 minutes if you were able to get a really good run and crank it from the bottom.
It's really important to maintain as much momentum from the bottom as you possibly can, really build up that speed, because at the top you have such a gnarly off camber. So to do that, it's gonna be pretty slippery because that hillside doesn't get a ton of sun on it. So I'm probably gonna be riding on the rear wheel as much as I can without looping out that front. There's gonna be a couple different spots in the hill that I'm gonna have to push my weight into the bike, use my legs, push into the bike to help maintain traction and keep that rear end on the ground. And then towards the top is a pretty gnarly off camber. And on that off camber, I'm gonna wanna keep the tops of my tires on the hill as much as possible. So I'll be pointing my bike kind of away from the hill. That's gonna allow for maximum traction. If I had my bike still straight up and down while I was on that off camber, more than likely that's going to cause the rear end to slide out, and that's never a good time, because then you're just losing minutes or seconds right there. So
I mean, to make that hill is just third gear and get a really solid right off the bat momentum built up across the road. You gotta be really smooth and trying to absorb some of those early bumps, just to keep your momentum, and you gotta be full gas in third and then clutching it to keep the front end down. It's a mixture of technical abilities, a little bit of bike setup stuff as well with the tires and whatnot, but yeah, you gotta be as much momentum as you can and then be light on the gas and try and ease your way across that camber with the roots to get up high enough and not diddle-dally around and risk throwing your bike off a pretty good sized ledge.
There's a couple mounds like on the in-run, so you want to make sure that you're preloading all those mounds and really driving like on the flatter spots of the hill instead of like driving on the upslopes, and then you're kind of like jumping. Instead, you're just like absorbing the bumps, and especially on the roots too, because you don't want to be giving it a ton of throttle on the roots. You kind of want to like hop over the roots and then give it gas in the dirt. You don't want to give it a ton of gas like where you know that the rear is going to spin, because that will throw you off balance, lose momentum. So once you get up there so far with good speed, then you just kind of tone down the throttle and just kind of like cruise across the side hill and then you're pretty much done. But if you have enough speed, just go straight up it. That's the plan. But if not, just kind of like pivot left, and there's a nice like left line that goes out around. I think that will be the move if not anyone's gonna get straight up
Pretty much the game plan that I had very little plans of pushing up Chocolate Goddess. I was gonna clean it, and so my first 2 tries, I hit it in third pretty hard, but it was just gearing was a little too tall, or I wasn't carrying enough momentum. So I came back down, put it in second, kind of was a little more patient at the bottom, and then just really got on it, kind of diverted a bit more left than I think most people went, was able to get out of the clay, icy kind of dirt and kind of straight line it a little more. And that ended up being the ticket to get me to the top.
Yeah, coming into Chocolate Goddess, I kind of was confused because I came down there and I thought that I was on the right line. And I started up the hill and I noticed that I was on the left line. So I got up there. I still tried to make it from the left, but I got up there and I was like, oh, this isn't the right line. So I just hooked a U down the hill and went into the main line. And pretty much I got a good run first try, kind of just cruised over the side hill and straight into the like little techie bit to get out around. I didn't get straight shot it, which kind of lost a little bit of time from Cody. He definitely caught up to me a little bit there. I think overall I did it pretty clean, no mistakes, just kind of a misread beginning. I should have just went straight for the right line. But hey, I made it work. It was first try, I didn't spend too much energy.